Alright, it's Richie here with your conference championship roundup. I'm just going to kind of break things down a little bit for you. All the conference championship games, who's going to play, or if they're not set yet, what the different scenarios are. The ACC championship game, that is set. Clemson won the Atlantic Division, Pitt won the Coastal Division, so it's Clemson against the Pittsburgh Panthers. The American Athletic Conference, half of that is set. UCF won the East. And the West will come down to this week's game between Memphis and Houston. Whoever wins that will go to Orlando to face UCF for the American Athletic Conference Championship game. The Big 12 Championship game, this is one of the most confusing ones. The Big 12, you guys are so stupid. You don't know what you're doing. Like, for years, you've been kind of a mockery. Everybody's mocked you. Everybody's laughed at you because you guys don't know. You had it fine with your Big 12 title games. Your division, you had divisions a long time ago. You got rid of them to do a round robin thing, and then you're doing a round robin thing where the number 1, number 2 team plays. Well, you might have a rematch because Oklahoma faces West Virginia this week, and it very well could be you guys could be watching that same game the next week. You tried to avoid it by moving Oklahoma State and Oklahoma earlier in the year, thinking, oh, West Virginia is not going to ever be good. Just go to divisions. Anyway, I'm sidetracked. So this is a bunch of scenarios. If Oklahoma wins or Texas loses, Oklahoma goes to the Big 12 championship. If West Virginia wins and Texas loses, West Virginia goes to the Big 12 championship. If Texas wins and West Virginia loses, they go. If West Virginia wins and Texas wins, there's a 3-way tie, and then it goes to some fucking stupid tiebreakers, like some 4, I don't know. I don't even know. I tried to look it up, try to break it down. Those are the easiest scenarios. Beyond that, blame the Big 12. They're dumb. All right, the Big 10, half of it's set. Northwestern won the Big 10 West. So this game, the Big 10 East, will come down between Ohio State and Michigan. That game, whoever wins that, will win the Big 10 East to face Northwestern for the Big 10 Championship. The CUSA Championship, the CUSA West has been decided. UAB, they've clinched it. They've won it. This USA East could come down to basically 2 teams, but there's 3 different scenarios. If Florida International wins, they are in. Basically, if they lose, Middle Tennessee State is in. I made it more complicated because if Middle Tennessee State wins and FIU loses, MTSU is in. If Middle Tennessee loses and FIU loses, that would create a 3-way tie, which Middle Tennessee gets. So basically, Florida International, you win, you're in. You lose, Middle Tennessee State will go in. The MAC Championship, the MAC West is set. Northern Illinois has won the MAC West. The MAC East, it could be 3 different teams. And here's the first one. Buffalo, if Buffalo wins, they're in. Or if Ohio loses, Buffalo, it's actually not true. So if Ohio loses and Miami of Ohio loses, yeah, my bad. I'm confusing myself. So Buffalo wins, they're in. If Ohio loses, Buffalo is in. Now, Ohio potentially could get in. If Ohio wins, Buffalo loses, and Miami of Ohio loses, then Ohio's in. Miami of Ohio actually could get in. If they win, Ohio wins, and Buffalo loses, that would create a 3-way tie for the top, and Miami of Ohio would get in. So it could be any one of 3 teams. And Miami of Ohio, they actually play on Tuesday. So by Tuesday night, you might have part of it solved. If Miami of Ohio loses, then it comes down to Ohio and Buffalo. So that's all up in the air. The Mountain West Conference Championship game, the Mountain West Division, Fresno State is set. The Mountain West Mountain Division, it'll come down to the game between Boise State and Utah State. Whoever wins that would face Fresno State for the Mountain West Championship. The Pac-12, half is set. The Pac-12 South, Utah has clinched that division. And then the Pac-12 North will come down to the Apple Cup on Friday between the Washington Huskies and the Washington State Cougars. Whoever wins that would clinch the Pac-12 North and would face Utah for the Pac-12 Championship. The SEC Championship game is already set. Georgia's won the East. Alabama's already clinched the West, so it's Alabama versus Georgia for the SEC Championship. And then the inaugural, the first ever Sun Belt Conference Championship game, and actually neither side is set. So the East is a little easier. Troy faces Appalachian State this weekend. Whoever wins that will clinch the Sun Belt East Division. The Sun Belt West Division, it could come down to one of three teams. Arkansas State, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, and the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. If Arkansas State wins and Louisiana Monroe wins, then Arkansas State is in. If Arkansas State wins and Louisiana Lafayette wins, Louisiana Lafayette is in. So basically, if Louisiana Lafayette wins, they're in. If Arkansas State loses and Louisiana Monroe wins, then Louisiana Monroe is in, right? So does that make sense? So, because Louisiana Monroe faces Louisiana Lafayette, so, and Arkansas State lost to Louisiana Lafayette, but they beat Louisiana Monroe. So if Louisiana Monroe and Arkansas State finish tied on top, Arkansas State wins the head-to-head tiebreaker. But if Arkansas State and Louisiana Lafayette tie on top, then Louisiana Lafayette would get that tiebreaker. So, but if Arkansas State loses, then whoever wins between Louisiana Lafayette and Louisiana Monroe would go in. So it could be one of three teams there. So those are the conference championship races. I always enjoy this time of year with the conference championships. The race to the end. Even though they're kind of diluted, all these like fun. It's the very last game of the year. These games matter. It's fun to see. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Check out all my preview videos on my other videos. Peace.